Good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And y'all, today we have Kasey Wallis on with us. She's going to be speaking about the hidden spiral helix DNA configurations. And this isn't going to be a mental, like, spiral DNA type of thing. The way that Kasey is bringing it through, what she's bringing through for clients, we're going to have Julius coming in, who Kasey guides through her being. She channels this amazing collective that if you felt them before, you know who they are. I don't have to say much. Um, but they're angels, guides, masters that show up for her. And of course, she'll describe them um, in the intimate way that she knows them. But it's quite extraordinary. And it's both Kasey and Julius have had a profound impact on my personal expansion and evolution over the 12 years that I've been doing Beyond the Ordinary Show. And it's always a pleasure to share what has been so impactful for me, to share it with you all. And so, again, sit back, enjoy, receive. We'll get into live Q&A later. The special offer is absolutely amazing. And let's have a little bit of fun with it today as well. And with that, Kasey, welcome to today's call.
It's it is such a joy to be here. I'll tell you, it
Mm.
is. This is the best of the best. I am asked now more than ever this year, with lots of transformation that has taken place, how I have become so consciously aware of where I place my energy and the energy that we choose to interact with. And John, you're it. So it
Thank
is
you.
such a joy. And from the last time I was on your show, and we had great response to our
No, you
offerings
had
at that time.
amazing response. It wasn't
Um,
great. Oh my God. Yes.
your audience is amazing, John. I mean,
Mm.
all of my compliments to you, of course, and the energy for the people that you draw. I have had every single session I have enjoyed with every single person, speaking to
Mm.
them, getting to know them. It's amazing, just amazing. So thank you to all of you guys that are out there. You're the best of the best. I really appreciate you.
Oh, amazing. Kasey, can we get a little, there's some new people on Beyond the Ordinary. Can you give us a little background on your relationship with Julius and Julius's relationship with you? And then we
Yeah.
have to go into this unraveling that is taking place. And this is profound, y'all. And to have an
Yes.
awareness about this begins the process. So this is epic. It's first a little bit about you and Julius, please.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. So I've had the honor of being the trans conduit for Julius for, well, John, since you had your first show. We were on your
Mhm.
show for the very first time. And for years and years, in fact, I'm gonna admit, up until this year, I just thought I was this channel, and this group of entities came through, and it was extraordinary. And we've been teaching, and we've been doing all kinds of cool things. And but I never really asked Julius for myself what
Mm.
my personal relationship with Julius was. To be honest with you, John, I didn't really think about it too much. I was so honored to be this conduit. But the most amazing thing happened to me at the beginning of the year. I had for anybody who's a fan of tarot card readings and things like that. I had my tower
Wow.
moment, January 1st of this year, and the massive upheaval and collapse of my personal life, thank goodness, transformed my professional life with Julius into the most amazing, amazing energy frequency. And in that, I had a 3-day download process where Julius finally revealed who I am. And we talked about that in your last show, but many people had thought that perhaps I was Cleopatra to Julius in another life. And that never really resonated with me.
Mm.
I always felt complimented by somebody's, intuitive read on that. But I was like, that's just not quite it. But Julius did inform me that in the life that we shared in that timeline, that I am Arsinoe. Arsinoe is Cleopatra's half sister. And
Mm.
at 12 years old, Arsinoe challenged Cleopatra for the throne and lost. And Cleopatra had charged Julius with getting rid of her. He was supposed to take her out to sea and dispose of her, and he didn't. And instead placed her in sanctuary on an island where he kept her safe. And they had, of course, a very deep, deep, deep relationship. And she was an intuit and a healer, a channel and a seer at that time. And when they were revealing all of this to me, they were also showing me many, many things that I was going to be bringing back into this timeline as activations and clearing for humanity.
Mm.
We started with the vault sessions that we did on your show, and
Mm.
those have been phenomenally popular, and I'm so blessed to be able to do that. But now we have our next thing. We have our next thing, and it's crazy. It's crazy. We got the download. I got the download from Julius just a few months ago, and we unraveled it. We're going to talk about that tonight and what that is. And I immediately got a hold of you
Yeah, yeah.
as I needed to and said, John, we got to do it. We got to do it. Right. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I've had a long history with Julius, come to find out. I knew I had, but it is such a joy to have the clarity on that. And then the power now that comes through me, John, with my ability to accept that role
Mm.
and not let it override who I am in this timeline, but it's pretty cool. You know, when you start to feel that connection of our aspect of our highest frequency and let it come through. And that's the other thing I want the audience to feel inspired with this conversation. You know,
Well, and I love what
it's
I
all
love what
that
you're
we are.
I really appreciate what you're sharing because what I want to share with the audience, part of my understanding as it's as the enlightenment is coming through for it also is that who we are now is a qualified energy based on different experiences that we're bringing into the now, and this accumulation is here for a purpose, and based on that
Yeah.
qualified container of light that we have kept in its integrity and are adding into its integrity, that's what we're bringing forward. And all those experiences have led us up to this part of our journey.
Well, nobody who's here in this timeline,
Ah, here he comes.
Master, nobody who is here in this timeline is here for the first time. You all know this. You
Mhm.
all know this, okay? This is an intentional space, a highly intentional space this time, with a heightened state of awareness for the intention of you being in this space. So commonly humanity, as you know, once beginning the reincarnated cycle, you put yourselves through amnesia, which is the amniotic fluid that the embryo sits in, to
Mhm.
produce an amnesic state for you for many reasons, masters, for many reasons. The primary reason is to help you step away from previous actions that you would hold yourself in grave judgment over in order for you to clear a slate for a new possibility for yourself to know yourself as source. But as you all know, there is certainly a level of frustration in that amnesic state, especially when you become aware and you know that there's more and you know that there's a broader aspect to yourself. And yet the difficulties in the detailing of the pinning that aspect down can literally leave people in a distracted state in this timeline that can lessen their aspect of knowing all that they are as source.
Mhm.
But this timeline, master, is full of the reoccurring souls that had a glimpse and creative aspect as to what the intention is to take place this time or in this timeline. And the profound and empowered state of humanity's potential is here. So we all are going to support that none of you are new. Isn't that lovely? No,
Mhm.
actually, that's the ultimate truth because there is no time. But we want all of you to embrace the truth that you are advanced souls and that you have experience here, going to assist you in remembering that process. But we want you all to sit enjoying an empowered state because no one is any less than or more than any particle, any fragment, any fractal of source. And we want all of you to step up tonight and embrace that truth, not out of arrogance, but out of the knowing and the potential of what is to come for you.
Hmm. Oh, so let's get into this topic again, because this is a big one. Hidden spiral helix DNA configurations. What is that?
It's crazy. So, masters, you all have been led to believe that you have a single spiral helix DNA strand that has cross strands and numerous cross strands of potential that are literally kind of woven into the existence of it. But what if we told you you have been lied to, and that there are 3 of those spiral helix strands for third dimensional embodied beings? In fact, we're going to support that there are 4 for 4-dimensional embodied beings and 5 for 5-dimensional embodied beings. So it would make sense, wouldn't it? That is a third dimensional and costumed embodied being, that your costume would hold and house 3 spiral helixes. Now, the one that you have working and active is so stressed to carry the load of the possibility of what your costume can convey. And of course, when you remove the activity of 2/3 of an energetic empowered state from any costume, you truly can control it. You truly can manipulate it. And you truly, truly, truly can limit its extension for how long it has the possibility to live on the earthship. For masters, your conscious journey has become so arduous and long for you that everybody that we speak to is always in such a hurry to reach a high level of consciousness state, because they bought into the program that your lifespan is limited, right? Like by the time you're in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s and everybody's in a hurry, I want to hit a high consciousness state before I die and start over again. And we say, well, what if your physical embodiment was designed to live for thousands of years, masters, even if you stayed in a cycle of reincarnation? What if we told you that as your embodied body lives right now in its subatomic molecular state, it can rejuvenate and reactivate its state for thousands of years? The way they've removed that possibility is to deactivate 2/3 of your potential. That way, you are less likely to reach a high level of consciousness in a lifetime. But what if you had thousands of years? Could you imagine everybody reaching that 6th level of consciousness and truly transforming the earthship by the collective consciousness knowing themselves as source? Well, nobody wants that, right? Because they would lose control over you. So if they can literally deflate you and diffuse you in such a tiny little amount of time, as in less than average of 100 years, they can keep you enslaved forever, forever. And we don't need to get into everything about who they are. We'll just say, you know that a realm is a dimension governed. And anytime you have a commodity exchange program, you're going to have enslavement. It's a truth. However you want to label those people or interpret those people, it's a truth. But the way you do that, master, is you take away the God essence knowing from a soul. And then you literally have the victimhood status that keeps everybody in a low consciousness state. Now, with the other 2 spiral helix activation, master, this is where your powers that be exist, that take you interdimensional, that teletransport you into all kinds of open knowing aspects of all that you are. It's amazing. It's amazing. What if you could just openly access these things? You surely would dissolve away your limitation of how limited you perceive yourself to be. And it would support you knowing that you are source rather than human. Because by removing the aspects of your potential of possibility and all of existence in a single lifetime, you buy into the illusion that you're a human. And you're not. You're just wearing a costume to play fun roles in order to perceive yourself as source. And what if you could break through that ceiling of illusion for your own selves?
I think that's one. I'd love some clarification just to get into the awareness of it. Why are they
Mhm.
wanting to keep that hidden from us?
Yeah,
To
because
what
Master,
end?
the higher your frequency, the less need you have. You need nothing. When you are in a fully frequencied state of knowing yourself as source, you talk about manifesting anything that you ever could desire, then you don't need anything. And if you don't need anything, then there is no gain for certain and less for others. It's a disempowered state for those who crave artificial power. So let's take away your sourceness, make you need everything, and voila, it's a truth. It's just a common denomination of stripping away and offering crumbs, and then you literally have enslavement taking place. Now, you did not design the Earthship this way originally. You really did not. Now, we're going to go all the way back, Masters, and we're going to support that you are source and that your soul is a fractaled aspect of this energy. And a soul is the emotional processor of thought. You are the creators of everything that demonstrates itself through thought design. So when you designed this Earth ship, which is the platform for multiple dimensions and multiple realms for souls to enact thought and emotion in ways to be creative and knowing themselves as source, you really didn't have a controlling aspect. Everybody was basically having a great time in full creative flow with each other. Even though we do agree that there is polarity on any physical realm, Master, because it literally takes polarized energy to launch particles of matter. There was far more of a balance in that system. The system has gotten way off balance. You know this is true. Now, we don't even need to get into conspiracy theories and things like that.
Right.
You just know it's true because this is why embodied beings live in fear, live in so much fear, and it keeps them in a low frequency state. Anytime, Master, that you can take a soul or a conscious being of any kind away from unity consciousness knowing and place them in a separate and singular perspective, you've captured them.
Hmm.
You've captured them. And that's what has taken place.
So tell us more about what is unraveling. What's the opportunity and what do we do to facilitate that, or how has it been being facilitated simultaneously for us?
You know, we've often been asked why pain and suffering? Why enslavement? And
Mm.
we can tell you that in a broad perspective, it's a very motivating tool, honestly. If you just get to the point where you've had your guts full of something, you'll finally try empowerment. You'll finally try accountability. You'll finally try your state of being the creator of your reality. And that's what's taken place. It's amazing. But there's been so much limitation on the way that you perceive yourselves, Master, the way that you perceive yourselves. It seems like everybody's ceiling is trying to get to that unity consciousness state where you literally process thought from such a broad frequency of unity consciousness that anything demonstrated on this realm would benefit that unity consciousness state. And it seems like there's just this tiny thing, it's actually massive, where people kind of ricochet back and forth. Oh yeah, I know that we're all one, but I need this. Oh yeah, I know that I'm source, but I need to ask the universe for help. So there's just this weird ceiling that people can't get through. And part of that, Master, is this: your physical body is thought actualized. It's thought actualized,
Mm.
literally. If you don't think your body can do things, you don't think you can do things. This is your convincer. Okay. This costume that you're walking around in has convinced you of your limitation, just through the aging process. What if your costume showed you different? Could you change your perspective? Could you come back to your knowing? Could you see farther and deeper and broader of all that you are? And how would that position your life in a new energetic configuration for yourself? Just think about that. Okay. Think about what has convinced you that you're separate from another person. Okay. And most of it is your body, literally your body. Okay. And if we can assist you in heightening the state of the frequency, the response, the agility, the possibility of your physical costume along the process of you expanding your consciousness and your knowing that you are source, you've got a support system to back you up that nobody else could take away from you again. And there are creatures here on this Earthship Master that demonstrate those three strands. And we're gonna go to our favorite one, which is the octopus. Coolest creature out there, right? Coolest creature out there. It is the quintessential shapeshifter, and its ability to regrow and reconfigure itself is the most amazing thing. And do you know that creature lives in no fear? It lives in a pure creative, pure problem solving state. Pure. Okay. That alone is the most amazing thing. But we don't want everybody to just run to studying an octopus. But what we can tell you is this: why can't your body do that? Really? You think that there would be one creature superior to another in its ability? What if we told you that a huge percentage of wildlife can shapeshift into other dimensions? We don't care whether you believe us or not. We're telling you it's true. Okay. We're telling you that you've been lied to, that there are three spiral helixes, and once activated, Master, they work like a Tesla coil system. We literally want you to think of it like pistons in an automobile. How do you think that automobile maximizes its performance when all pistons not only are firing, but they're firing in conjunction and rhythm with each other, and your pistons have been shut off? You're running on one. You're running on one. Now, considering that you're doing pretty good, actually. But unfortunately, it also makes it a very easy target to be poisoned and shut down and deactivated as well. But you don't have to live that way if you do not choose to anymore.
So how's Kasey guiding clients into these activations? What's happening during these sessions and during these workshops, and what shifts are being noticed?
Yeah. So, Master, there are 7 energy bodies around your physical body. The 5th body out is the etheric template body. It is known as a web body, generally has a blue coloration, and it's the energy body that your thought design takes place. And everything from there is where matter is attached. So we go all the way to the 5th body. That's where the DNA strands energetically live, or the spiral helixes. So we enter into your energetic field, or she does. We are working through her. So she's channeling when she does this. And we enter into your energy bodies. We move in one by one out to the 5th body. And that's where plasma energy is brought in. What has happened to these spiral helixes is, the great news is they aren't dead. That's great news. They basically have been energetically encapsulated or covered up so they cannot fire with each other. So upon first application, which is what we're offering here with you, basically that energetic layer gets peeled off and they start to move and breathe. In the procedure, that is peeled off using plasma or quantum energy in the process. Then there is an activation coding process that gets them to start to awaken fire with each other. It's a pretty intense process. We love to see everybody's enthusiasm as far as the possibilities of how this energy moves. Now, from there can be several other processes to really get these things awakened. But the truth is this, Masters, your conscious journey is what moves everything for you. And we want to almost say with love and with honor that this is a fairly serious person who's really trying to break those barriers, really has reached that point on their journey and in their life where I'm ready to break through a lot of these walls, a lot of these limitations. Where's the help? Where's the help? There's got to be something out there, right? And we're like, well, there is. It's called plasma energy. Now, the cool thing is this. You have plasma, as you know, running through your body. It's all through your body. In fact, the quantum field energy of plasma is your Kundalini energy. So the Kundalini energy is also used in the fifth body out when we go in for the activation. It's pretty intense. When you come out of the experience, a lot of people feel a little wonky. We're going to ground you out before we let you go, right? But from there, we have reports of people that have the most clear minds as to what they're supposed to be doing. We've literally had people change their personalities afterwards, letting go of their victimhood, coming back to their empowered state, and unleashing a light field around them of abundance and transformation like they have not been able to do before. Just imagine, masters, the fog being lifted and where your thought field could take you to and what could be accessed in your knowing. Now, as these spiral helixes start to wake up and move, what we're going to tell you is this. The one that you have, that you're using, that you have, is quite elongated and quite stressed. It's going to come down and it's going to start to compress itself. The other two, they're actually not supposed to be quite as elongated as they are. They have a little bit more of a compressed state, and that's where they're going to fire together. So you're going to get an upgrade on the one that you currently have as well. We want to tell you this. There's no such thing as junk DNA. There's no such thing. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine source being junk in any way, shape, or form? Can you imagine any of you being junk in any way, shape, or form? What
No.
if these are just strands of possibilities that you just haven't accepted yet, right?
Right. So the work we've been doing about limiting beliefs and ancestral clearings and accessing the Akashic and surrendering and letting go, it's all a function from what I understand and what you're sharing with us that a lot of that was hindered and we've been chasing trying to to use a small spoon to shovel the driveway from the snow. Um, and we don't have to do the heavy lifting as much anymore when this gets activated.
You know, the heavy lifting master is your acceptance.
Mm,
That's the truth. What you do not accept becomes the weight that you carry. That's the truth. Broadening your acceptance is the answer. Moving into a high consciousness state is accepting that you are the all. And that's rocket fuel. It's
mm,
rocket fuel. Another way that it is stated is doubt, self-doubt, self-judgment. That's the weight that you carry. But the support systems around you support the isolated state. They support the singular and separate state. And you just can't literally get past the visual of the hologram. What if you could? What if you could? Okay. It is amazing how truth stabilizes itself for you when knowing is activated through experience. It's a truth. Okay. Most embodied beings try to have hope and faith about somebody else's experience for something and then strive to duplicate somebody else's knowing, which reduces that knowing into nothing more than belief and hope. Those two things are conjectural to your steadfast knowing aspect, and knowing comes through experience. That's what you as source are doing. You are knowing yourselves through the infinite amount of souls traversing in a creative aspect of thought. Source is knowing itself. That's how you become empowered, not being hopeful. So, what if we could help you know more than you
mm.
ever thought you could through activated, expansive awareness? And that's what this is about. Does that help you?
It does, and it does. And again, it puts me in that picture of we're no longer pushing the big boulder uphill in the same way. Um, and we can change our perspective of what's possible and expand it. And like Kasey started the call earlier, it's about really us accepting that we are an aspect of the divine. It's like, and that's just,
It's
it can't
the
be
wall.
denied. It can't be
It's the
denied.
wall. It
Yeah.
is. And we get it because again, we have you have so much programming, you have so much programming from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, and punishments and timelines that literally, God forbid, you claim yourself as such. Okay, so you've got those that inherently become imprinted and encoded in your body on a molecular level. But what if that is a frequency? Okay, what if that is a low frequency encapsulated state and you're trying to get that lid off, right? And you've loosened it, like you've loosened it, okay? Some of you have even pried the corner open a little bit, and oh, you'll get a quick glimpse, okay? And on occasion, you'll feel it, right? Like I just felt in alignment with source, like I had all my whole corridor open and I had all knowing. And we're like, yeah, what if that's your natural state? What if it's your natural state? Do you think you could accelerate along in every corner of your life, Master? Because remember that your life is a demonstration of your frequency. Everything's your frequency
Mhm.
because you're the holographic film projector of your reality. And it is very, very difficult for people to get beyond pain. Let's just talk about that. My body hurts. Okay. I can't get out of bed. I can't stand upright. And you want me to convince myself that I'm source, right? We're like, yeah, we get it. We get it. Okay. I can't get my brain to go there. I can't get my brain to go there. Everything is transfixed on the limitations around me. We're like, yeah, we get it. We get it. Okay. It's a frequency. What if at the very least you were able to break your thought barriers with this activation? Just imagine that. What if you could go beyond the way you think with this frequency? Okay. That alone will transform your lives. At the very least, it's an energy upgrade like you've never had before thus far in this lifetime. And that can be celebrated for your own selves, right? And for those who choose to go further and further and further and deeper, wouldn't it be fun if the next time we saw you, we were showing everybody how to levitate, right?
Amazing. I want to get into some Q&A pretty soon. So if y'all want to ask questions, type your questions into the chat box or raise your hand, and we'll start promoting y'all as a panelist. Are there some already that have been activating these additional strands?
We
Is
have been.
this
So
new?
we took our academy. Our academy was our trial group, right? When we announced this to our academy, everybody was having a fit, and we took them through group sessions. So the group sessions, which is what we're going to be offering here, because thankfully, we are knowing that the response is going to be big, and we want to make sure we get to everybody in a timely manner. And we've had nothing but positive feedback. Now, for practitioners, which is a big percentage of our academy that we have, their gifts have up leveled tenfold. Like they're going to the next level, and they're telling us that have broken the barrier of universal energies that they're using, and they're getting into the galactic realms, and they're getting into the omni-galactic realms and the quantum realms now for their healing abilities. But also, masters, just for your knowing, when you are asked to try to imagine what it is to know yourself as the all, most people's brains can't go very far, literally cannot go very far. You mostly regurgitate familiar accepted thoughts. But what if you could go further? What if some of this literally starts to wake up and activate dormant parts of your brain? Okay. This is the time of no time, but we'll use that term because we know everybody loves to accept that this is a timeline. What if it could assist you in letting go of feeling like you're running out
Hmm.
of time? What about that? And how invaluable that process, and that will shift and change your existence as you know it in this third dimensional paradigm, right?
Amazing, amazing what's coming through. You know what? You started sharing about the foundations of unlocking your DNA strands and what's possible and the different levels of access. And I actually want to continue the momentum of that. So let's go into the special offer first.
Okay.
Before we take Q&A, then we'll go in and there'll probably be a process for the group tonight before we end the call as well. Uh, at least I'd request that if it's possible, that'd be amazing. But Chris or April have by now, I'm sure, typed in the link for the special offer in the chat box. Um, there it is, y'all, at 2:37 p.m. my time. So convert time zones. But you'll find the link. It's highlighted in blue. Click on that. Or if you don't see it for whatever reason, open up a new browser while you're listening to us and go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Kasey33, Kasey 33. And that'll take you to that same special offer page. And not sure if Kasey or Julius who wants to guide
Yeah.
what everybody's going to receive. I'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. So, of course, the primary thing is you're going to get an activation. So it will be done in a group setting. There'll be several options for you to choose your dates to join your Zoom group, and we're going to take you through a process. It's approximately 20 to 30 minutes long. It's very intense.
Wow.
You'll be encouraged to make sure that you're going to pick a day that you are not overly stressed, that you're not overly compressed on your schedule. And after the procedure, we're also going to recommend ways for you to assimilate the situation for 72 hours afterwards. So that's the thing that we're offering. But of course, in all of our packages, Masters, you get teachings. You get courses and classes to support you on your conscious journey, because we've got to take your thoughts broader as well. We've got to take your self-love deeper as well. We've got to get you away from the judgment of yourself as far away as we could possibly get you. So you're going to be reinforced with all of those downloads, all of those PDFs and things like that to go with this offer as well. What you're going to experience collectively, Masters, is an energetic infusion that we believe you have not experienced before.
Mm.
It is a space of the etheric template body. It's a non-physical space. We'll be guiding you visually into what we're doing. And of course, we're going to be describing all of that and encouraging all of you to follow along visually with what is taking place. But even if that seems overwhelming, we're just going to have you hold the light and the coloration of blue while we're taking you through this crazy, crazy aspect of your own selves. What
Mm.
if you could experience yourself non-physical? What if you could? This is a space of that possibility. And more than anything, it's so much fun. It is so much fun. And that's what everything is about, Masters, is addressing and raising your frequency into being in joy, maybe for the first time in your existence, but to also assist you in that being a familiar space for you, so you visit it quite often.
Hmm. This is amazing. So for clarity's sake, in the special offer, we have the Unlocking Silence DNA Strands. So you're offering different options where people can show up to the live class
Yes,
to
yes,
receive it. And again, be prepared that it's going to be intense. So give
yeah,
space.
yeah.
When you say intense, what does intense mean? What should people be prepared for?
Yeah, so this can literally feel like energy shooting through your body. If any of you have ever had an experience of a Kundalini activation, it can literally feel like fire or electricity shooting through your body. We've had practitioners report that it feels like when you get shocked, your heart gets shocked if you're having a heart attack every time we hit. So we're going to hit you several times with plasma, and we've had people jumping in the room when we're doing that for everybody, because we've done them both physically live and over the Zoom application. You're going to get hit with energy. It will not be painful. It will not be painful, but it definitely will move you, and you more than likely will feel like you've been on a roller coaster
Mm.
when you get done. So we're going to have you drinking water. We're going to have you calming down. If any of you can schedule to do it in the evening, more in the evening time, so you're going to sleep afterwards, that's amazing. But again, depending on your time zone, if the morning time works best for you, then we want you to do it when you have an easy morning. An easy morning, so you can nurture yourself, have some beautiful teas and things like that in the morning after we get to play with you. But it's intense, it's pretty jolty, and it's pretty impactful when that plasma energy gets thrown at you, and it's going to hit you about a dozen times in the process.
Yeah, and for preparation also, if y'all jump on, don't jump off halfway through. About how long are the sessions going to be?
Yeah, they're 25 to 30 minutes. We're going to
Okay,
talk to you for a little bit beforehand. And of course, we're going to talk to you afterwards to give you your care recommendations. But the actual process is about 25 minutes long.
fantastic, fantastic. And then we have the support of these recordings and these transmissions also. So there's living in the now, y'all. The how lack of self-love expresses itself. The power, and y'all are going to want to read through this. You can feel just the transmission even beginning by being here. Difference between high and low consciousness, the ultimate truth of ourselves. And all this, y'all, is $149, excuse me. It's valued at over $800. Um, Having an individual session with Kasey, which last time Kasey loaded up, and it was just such a beautiful offering for BTO. But I'm glad that you're doing it this way now, Julius and Kasey, because it's to serve more people simultaneously. It's like it's time to go beyond the ego and think, oh, we need this. It's like if we're just effective in this space and if we can do what we need to do in 10 minutes rather than 2 hours, why do we not choose that? Why do we not
Yeah,
choose that? And it's time to show up for that efficiency and for that self-love as well.
right. And the group energy is amazing too. So what we did find was this, it's obviously it's a schedule challenge, months and months and months. We're still doing sessions from the April 1st show
Mm.
with you from the overwhelming response, and we don't want people to have to wait that long. We want to honor everybody. We want to honor everybody. We've tested it out. The group sessions are amazing, amazing. And it's also amazing to feel supported in the company of others who are on this journey with you, right? Do you feel alone? Do
Mm.
you feel like there isn't anybody else out there that understands you, that there isn't anybody else out there that's on their conscious journey like you do? Come with us into the experience, and you're going to see that it's true that they are. That is also an amazing opportunity when we are able to do a group offering for people.
Beautiful. I appreciate that. April, do me a favor. A couple of people can access the sales page, the shopping cart, when they go in, and it's if y'all are on the page, try one of the other buttons. I think one of the buttons may be broken, the link, but if you try one or two of the other buttons, it's working for me right now. So, but we'll try to make sure that all the buttons are properly working. So thank you for writing in about that. And Julius, Kasey, I'd love to open up to Q&A.
Yeah. Oh,
If
yeah.
you're available for that. And y'all, again, the
Of
special
course.
offer, $149, valued at over 800. The sessions that I've had with Julius are beyond amazing. Again, I love what's coming through and that we get to benefit here on BTO from this generosity. So it's amazing. A couple of people have questions. So Sonia is asking, that she took the last special offer that you offered here on BTO. How's this one different from the last offer?
Different energy body field, master, different energy body field. So when we work in the vaults, we're working in the first two bodies, the etheric body and the emotional body. That's where a primary aspect of the baseline vaults are. So we're going much higher and much deeper, going non-physical prior to anything physical on your body. So it's a much higher level intensity. Obviously, it's a totally different pinpointed focus for an activation of a spiral helix than a removal. So there's totally different energy for us to do an extraction versus an activation, totally different energy application. And that's what we can tell you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, and Sandra, try the other buttons. I promise it's working. It's on there. And let's go to Jenny. Hi, Jenny. It's good to see you.
Hello. Thank you for calling on me, John. I have a question about what does the plasma consist of and how is it created, and um, does it have to be a consistent power source to activate the three spirals or the other spirals?
Plasma energy is quantum energy, master, and it runs through your body. You have plasma in your blood. You have it in your hormones. You have it in every subatomic cellular aspect of your body. But it is not in what we'll want to say high activation or high content. You've been limited, but that's the energy access that we use. So we pull in plasmatic energy. That's the energy that they use in the med beds that are going to be coming out. Everything is all about plasma to completely reconfigure the physical body. It comes from the quantum energy field. Once that is up leveled in your body, it's up to you to keep it going. It definitely is in configuration with your conscious energy frequency, and whether that's flowing freely through you, to you, and from you in all aspects of your state of frequency. But that's the energy that's brought in. You've already got it in your body. You've already got it in your body. It is the energy that holds, houses, and configures particles of matter together, either expands them or contracts them based on the content of how much plasma you have flowing through your body.
How is the plasma limited?
Through your thoughts, mostly. So
Hmm.
your energy frequency, masters, runs off of whether you're in high frequency state of love or a low frequency state of fear. And your body is an actualized response to your attitude and your perception. And so you're either going to be drawing in and actively accessing that continual flow of plasma energy, or you're shutting it off. And that has to do with your conscious frequency rate and state that you are in. When you are a high consciousness being, you are illuminated with plasmatic energy. That what literally makes you go translucent, and that's literally what you use to ascend yourself back to from matter to light, to ascend off of the energetic field. It's an access point. So we literally want you to think of it like a hose with water, and you've either got it on low flow or you've got it open for high flow. That has to do with your conscious state of levels of consciousness that you hold yourself in.
Thank you.
Julius, I have a question. Is it possible to activate this and still choose to be in the regurgitation of the past, of the limitation of the belief systems and all that? Or is it once it's activated, then there's going to be a natural flow into that state of expansion?
Master, everything you are a sovereign being, and whatever you choose to experience, you shall choose to experience. Nothing is going to fix you. We are here to assist you in your desire in any configuration, in any state of consciousness that you desire to be. It is not our perspective that matters, it is yours. Now listen to the words that we just said. It is the perspective that matters to you. Hold your matter together or releases it and unleashes it. And that has to do with your conscious frequency state. That's your sovereignty, and that is your free will component.
Beautiful. Thank you for answering that. Jenny, thank you for coming on. All right, let's continue. IntelliChi, welcome to the call. If you want to unmute your microphone.
Sorry, I thought you were doing it. Here I am.
Yes.
My old friends. Uh, so my question that I narrowed it down to, with respect for everyone, is I channel multiple sources, and as I'm doing that, you know, the mind and what's popular tries to wrestle life to the ground. But I know there's a better way. I stay in not needing to know, whereas in that way, I'm not pushing into anyone's field or trying to get or blame. Who is this? Is this one or is this one? There's so much blame in the pattern of the energy exchange there that I shy away from trying to do that. How can I understand and isolate each individual source that's moving through me at any given time? Thank you. I love you.
So we're going to encourage you not to isolate. So all thought is, and it is a unified consciousness state. We are you and you are us. There is only one of us here. The more you desire to isolate, the more you reduce your ability to comprehend, because there's a frequency state of singular and separate versus a frequency state of unity consciousness. Perhaps you are resisting your own aspect of going to a further truth by accepting all thought as an isness. Once a entity or a being ascends itself out of a low consciousness state, it will only refer to itself as a unified state as well. If you are channeling beings that still hold themselves as separate and singular, then you're going to be receiving limited information based on limited perspective. So it just depends on how it is that you choose to be. What information do you choose to receive? If you enjoy the low frequency information, which you should, because everybody should enjoy everything that they are experiencing, then you're going to search for the separate and singular. But if you choose to go more expansive in your experience, which will lead you to far more expansiveness in the knowing that you are the all master, stop trying to separate and singulate it out and go to a unified, fully encompassed, fully absorbed, and fully knowing state of all possibility for yourself.
All I came for and so much more. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. It's wonderful to have you here. All right, let's continue. Linda, welcome to today's call.
Hi, nice to talk to you finally. It's great. Thank you, John. My question is, I was always under the assumption that we had like 12 DNA strands. And
Master,
that,
you're talking about cross strands. We're talking about spiral helix configuration, not the strands that go across your spiral.
okay,
You understand?
yes,
Okay. Big difference.
Big
difference. Okay.
okay. And so you're able then to open up the other two strands that we usually don't have opened?
Yeah, we're not opening them. We're removing the filament energetic sealant that has been placed over them so they can come online. So our initial application, which is what we're offering you in this package, is that removal. If you desire to have more activations that help wake them up, then you can look into having that done for yourself. But this is not the cross strands
Okay.
that are sitting in your singular spiral helix. That's why we were trying to be very mindful of how we describe to you what this is about. It's about dormant, two other dormant spiral helix configurations with all of those cross strands activated in them.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's very interesting. Okay, thank you very much.
I'm glad that you came in with your question, Linda, because Julius, I can feel the mind doing this, and where's the heart? How can we activate the mind and the heart for the receptivity to allow what's coming in? Because it's so conceptual. It's not something that our mind can necessarily grasp onto. In this way, we want to say yes to it, and it sounds promising, but it's possible that we get lost in the translation.
Well, yeah, and again, masters, your information has just been so limited. We're just going to tell you that everything has been controlled and limited, but it makes sense, does it not? If you are a three-dimensional being, why wouldn't you have three? Why wouldn't you have three of everything? What if you do?
Cool.
Linda,
Thank you
for
so
sharing.
much. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a question that came in from Joyce. So, Julius, worshiping made us dependent of the outside circumstances. This is what Joy wrote. What would you say about how to take our power back from people, places, emotions, etc.?
Stop thinking of yourself as a human being. Stop thinking of yourself as anything less than all thought possibility. So, masters, you've been programmed. You've literally been programmed from the time of birth. you were programmed into an ethnicity, into a financial and economic status, into a political status, into a religious status, into a nationality type of status. You've been programmed to think you're your costume. Truly. That's how they've kept you from knowing yourself as the all. You've got to change your perspective of yourself. And we know that it's a challenge, Master. We know, because the programming is supported in everything around you on a subconscious level. That's why it's called programming, because you don't know it's there. Okay. So you've got to push yourself beyond it, Masters. You get to. You don't have to. You can stay right where you're at. Just keep going. We'll see you again next time. We promise we will. Okay. You are eternal beings. But to desire it, Master, is a huge decision, because we will tell you this. It is not popular to know yourself as source, considering 97% of humanity refuses to accept that truth. They refuse to accept that truth. Okay. And that's why their lives are limited. The question is, does it frighten you to know yourself as the all? And if it does, you have to ask yourself why. Why would it frighten you to know how fully empowered you are? Why? Once you can answer that question for yourself, you are unleashed. And we would love to play with you on the other side.
Beautiful. So 90%, 97% are shrouded by the veil. What are the other 3% doing?
Well, we'll tell you that most of the other 3% are usually sitting in about the third and fourth level of consciousness. They're really just waking up to the possibility of, could it be true? And what does that mean? What does that look like? Because remember, Master, everybody has been programmed to think that everything lives outside of them. The answers are out here. The power is out here. I have to access this. I have to ask permission for this. What if you are the energy you are trying to connect with? What does that mean? Okay. Well, first of all, it means that you are responsible and accountable for everything that you have ever experienced. And once that doesn't piss you off anymore, it makes you feel fully empowered and transformative, right? That's where the fun begins. So our first job is to assist you in deciding whether you want to know that truth, because believe us, playing the victim is convenient. If you have decided that that is a truth for you, then we're going to move very quickly into helping you not judge that, not judge any aspect of yourself that you have been, not judge any limitation that you have created for yourselves. You are not the dunces of the universe. You've been programmed. Then we want to get you excited at the potential of what all of that means. And you are on your way, Masters. You are on your way. Here's the cool thing. When you are a low frequency consciousness being, your frequency adds or stacks on itself. So in other words, in order for them to keep the mass collective of humanity in a low consciousness state, they constantly have to bombard you with fear in order to keep fear and low frequency stacked onto each other, because fear stacks, but love is exponential and it multiplies. Should we say that again? Fear stacks, but love multiplies and is exponential. So even with just 3 to 4% of all of humanity in a fully activated, awakened state and knowing that they are source, that exponential frequency can help to inspire, heal, and restore the stacked aspect of fear perspective and bring far more balance, not only into your own singular perceived lives, but for the mass collection as well.
Beautiful. Oh my God, love that. It's powerful, y'all, what's coming through. It's, as a reminder, the link for the special offer is in the chat box. This spark of potentiality actualizing through this assistance is just, it's powerful, y'all. Powerful what's coming through. So I hope you take advantage of the special offer. Just, it's so interesting that we're talking about this in this way today, and that question about religion and all that came through. Yesterday, I was in a deep meditation and I saw this image and it felt like I was transitioning through something. but it was me as a priest, and I was pulling out my collar, and I was being shown to stop praying at the feet of the God, and to align myself with that which I had been worshiping, that which I had devoted to and made myself smaller to, for innocent and maybe not so innocent reasons, but really it was that invitation to walk beside the perfection that created all of this, and to stop playing small, because that's not the truth of what creation was or is.
No, it's, and you don't walk beside it, Master. You are that energy.
There you
You
go.
are that energy. But we get it, okay? It is just as you beautifully stated, step by step. We broaden our acceptance that we are the all. And as you do, the potential of all that shall be grows exponentially, exponentially, okay? The journey is not arduous anymore. It is playful and joyous and expansive and healing and restorative. And there's nothing to fear, literally. But we understand the resistance for it because of the programming. But here's the cool thing. You're here. Nothing has ceased your existence thus far. Isn't that amazing? So lean into that truth demonstrated for yourselves. A huge percentage of you will at least be able to state that you know that you've been here before. You've had out-of-body experiences, you've had near-death experiences, you know you have a good sense, you've had past life regression therapy, you know that this is not your first time around. And we'll guarantee that you've not done such great things in your other lives, and yet you're here, okay? You're not punished for all of damnation for daring to know yourself as source masters. In fact, we are going to support that. That is what brings the heaven aspect into your truth. Do you know that you've even been lied to as to what hell is? Do you know what a hell is? It's a shallow grave. That's literally what that word means. And all it meant that for poor people who couldn't afford to dig a deep grave, they were buried in a hell where beasts and demons came and devoured the body, and they believed that that soul never made it to heaven. That's all that that is. It's not an eternal space. It was something based on a third dimensional hologram that's not even real. So masters, let that program go and embrace the potential truth of all that you can be. We guarantee you it is the joyous playground to play in.
Love that. So Julius, respectfully, I say this, and holy shit, it's been a summer of expanding and things coming up from the boiling point to be revealed, for truths to come out, regardless of how difficult or easy they were, but they needed to be brought to the light so that we can move forward.
People having tower moments this year, John? Is that what you're saying? Where for those of you who got it the first half and thought, oh, I escaped it, I didn't get it. Yeah, maybe you're figuring it out the second half of this year. Yeah, the stuff has hit the fan, like literally. People's lives are completely turned inside out. We're not talking about a few little things here and there. We're talking about the total sock turned inside out for a good portion of you. Turbulence, then you can't get a hold of the handrails type of shift. Okay. And the question comes, are you going to practice what you preach? Are you going to dive into what you read or you study? Are you? Or are you going up or you going down? Are you going to phoenix this thing? Are you going to phoenix this thing? Okay. Or are you just going to curl up and die? That's really where a lot of you out. And we get it. We get it. That's why it's the time to be demonstrating the phoenix rising metaphor. Phoenix rising masters, you are source, and we're going to help you take your pain and your suffering and your holy shite realities. It is the year of disclosure, disclosure of what has been a lie and a falsehood in your life, and reveal it to you. Somebody made a great comment that said the heartbreak makes the eyesight clearer. Okay. So we're here to help you phoenix this thing. John is here to help you phoenix this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And when this thing comes out on the other end, and it is already has for a lot of you, and it will for a lot of you, we're here for you. John is here for you. And
Oh,
isn't
yes.
it amazing? Because masters, there's only one of us here. So that means that you are here for yourself.
Beautiful. What would you recommend for those people in the audience and listen to the replay to have support of what's coming up through them physically? There's a lot of people, physical challenges, I'll call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's real.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. So your body is thought and emotion actualized. Plain and simple. There's no other truth out there. You can blame it on environment, but it's not real. It's not real. It is because you accept that it is, and therefore you transfer that realism through your physical body. So your body is thought and emotion actualized. That is a truth. That can be very frustrating because we know that many people will say, well, I try to think more positive and I try to change my thoughts. And we say, yes, we see that. We do understand that, but you don't understand how the constant flow that you have going on your subconscious level of your previous state of who you are that keeps showing itself through the physical body. You've got to change things up. And maybe this is why you're causing your life to change up so much, masters, is to step away from the mirror that you have been looking in. You've got to take responsibility. You get to take responsibility, masters, in all components of your own life, because we will support this. You are body, mind, soul, meaning your body does count. So you need to take care of your body. And you know, masters, that pain is low frequency, and it is the demonstration that there is at least something in your life in a very low frequency state that you're holding on to. Your body is a beautiful mapping system to show you exactly who you are being and exactly where you are on your conscious journey. So because of that, you could love the fact that your body's in pain, because that's the only way you can get it to change. Anything that you judge, you will never get rid of. You can only transmute through love and appreciation. And as much as it sounds crazy for us to ask you to love your pain and love your limitation, we would tell you that it's literally just like loving the fact that you've been given an answer. Your body is showing you that you have low frequency going on in your life. Awesome. Go shift it, change it, transmute it. It's amazing. You're walking around in a mapping system for your consciousness. And that is truly something to be grateful for.
That's beautiful. Something that I've been using, that I've been working with and having a relationship lately is if an outcome or if something's in a place where it's not my preference and it feels challenging, it's instead of going into the problem and solving the problem from that place, I'm really dropping into a quiet space, and I'm first connecting, centering to myself, into the pillar of light that I am. I just am, and activating that. But the question is so innocent. It's like, what is possible from this point that's going to be so beneficial, and it's for like my next level of expansion, for my joy, really from a place of benevolence that I'm ready to receive.
Yeah.
And just being in that curiosity is just, it shifts which way I am choosing to see, like which way I'm pointing my eyesight and focusing on.
It's recognizing that you can shift that, master. That's what's amazing. Okay. Most people don't think they can change the way they think. They
Yeah.
don't think they can think differently. They don't. In fact, it usually frustrates people beyond belief when we tell them, just change the way you think and just change the way you feel. And they're like, thanks. Thanks for
Mhm.
that. Like, I can't, right? And we're like, well, first of all, stop saying you can't. Okay. Seriously, stop saying you can't. Okay. Frequency is an extraordinary thing, masters. We're going to tell you that's all that you are, is frequency. You are frequency demonstrated in so many different forms and aspects. Your problems and your issues are a byproduct of a frequency state. When all else fails, or actually, we're going to give you all a little secret. High consciousness beings don't give thought another thought. All they focus on is their frequency. That way that any thought that lands is guaranteed to be extraordinary. That's the truth. They don't worry about anything. They don't even plan anything. They don't. They focus on their frequency all the time. You see, masters, your brain does not create thought. It processes thought. As long as you are embodied, you can't make anything up. Everything that you could possibly think of already is somewhere, somehow. Your physical brain does not create thought. It receives and processes thought. And here's the other thing. It's never not thinking. Just because you aren't aware of your thoughts doesn't mean it's not processing thought. Literally, your bodily operations take thought to work. Okay. So you don't have to worry about whether you're thinking about anything for your manifestation. You need to worry about your frequency that those thoughts are dropping in on. That's the key. High frequency beings only focus on their frequency, and their lives are extraordinary because, as we stated to our students, any of you have ever played baseball or softball, or somebody that you love has, and you go to a batting cage, okay, and you put a quarter into the machine, and the machine gets ramped up, boom, 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 and the softball drops in, boom, and it's launched from the machine that's already going. They don't drop the softball in and then crank up the machine. The machine is already going. That's your frequency. That's your frequency. And the softball is the thought. The higher the frequency, the velocity of that thought possibility is. That's how that works.
Yeah, I think a great way to measure also where our frequency may be is that from my experience, those who run in a high frequency as well, they don't judge the opinions and the thoughts of others and demean them or degrade them as not being correct or being less than.
Right.
They're really open to receiving and expanding what's possible because they realize that it's all one.
Well, and there is nothing that isn't true, masters. You see,
Right.
truth is the way something feels to you. Okay. Now there's limited truth and there's expansive truth, but not right or wrong. Okay. And that is based on your frequency. So if you have a low frequency, you will have a limited perspective of information or thought. And then you'll hold steadfast to a thought only being able to show itself in certain ways. But if you go to a broader component, you will know that all thought lives in any frequency possibility. And so any and every thought could be endlessly expansive. So when you're witnessing or in the company of somebody who's experiencing and demonstrating and created limited thoughts, you just know that that's their truth based on their frequency. Just is. There's no need to judge it. You could say, if they ask, how can you not believe that this is true? And we will simply say, well, we're in a higher vibration of thought possibility, and therefore we know that all truth expands itself. And that's what we choose to explore. We would encourage you to do the same thing because it's quite joyous to discover new possibility of what you once perceived to be a limitation.
Wow, that's powerful teaching right there. Powerful. Just that practice alone can shift everything, truly. Wow. Okay, so Susie wants to know, what is our frequency? Just how we feel?
So that's a great thing, Master. So there are 7 levels of consciousness to the human experience. Some people break them down into, 15, 25, 30, but there's 7 basic thought perspectives. And the first 3 levels of consciousness have everything to do with the perception of separate and singular in your life, or judgment. For that which you judge, you will separate. So if you are living in the perception that you are separate and singular, or you are a fragment of source rather than a fractal of source, you are vibrating in a low frequency currency rate. Then there is a bridging component where you're transmuting yourself out of judgment of all possibility and moving from separate and singular into unity consciousness. That's a higher frequency state. And then there's levels 5 and 6 while you are fully embodied and you are living in unity, unified consciousness where you truly know yourself as the all. It is the highest frequency state. It is non-judgment of any thought possibility, for you know yourself as all thought. And if you judged any single one of them, you would be judging yourself. It is the full brain activation, full open-minded state. That's how you measure yourself.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Great question, Susie. Thank you. Is the Earth going through a similar shift and activating that spiral DNA as well?
So, Master, the Earth is not real. It's a holographic projection, and it is a projection of unity consciousness or collective creative consciousness projection. That's what it is. It's a hologram, just like your body is, actually. Okay. So the more that humanity or sentient beings come into the truth of the knowing themselves as the all, the projection hologram will demonstrate that truth as well. Does the soul live? Does the Earth ship carry a soul inside of it? Many, actually, since everything is a fractal. And it is transmuting its knowing itself as the all as well. Everything in the holographic projection is. Isn't that exciting? But we will tell you that there is an enumerous aspect of it, just like there is an enumerous aspect of you. Don't think of it as separate as singular. Think of it as a thought possibility.
Beautiful. And is there an aspect, and again, I understand in our conversation that it's all us. It's all the fractals reflecting back to us that we are in the divinity that we are. Is there an aspect of this that is awakening and in the consciousness that we're carrying collectively as a humanity, where this is also perhaps triggering an awareness of something that carries within us naturally, that as we enlighten ourselves, as we activate this within ourselves, that there's an aspect of being of service to others simultaneously? Or is
Well,
that more?
it's amazing. Yeah, because,
Yeah.
unity consciousness resolves that because there's only one of us here, right? So everything is of service to you. You can only harm another when you do not know yourself as source, and you need to disempower another to feel empowered. And you are correct, Master. It is a low-level state of consciousness. But since there is no time, we will tell you it is already here. What if it's just a point of tapping into that existence through a frequency occurrence? For we will tell you this. People that live in a high frequency state don't live in the world that you live in. They don't live in the reality of pain and suffering. They don't live in the reality of limited aspects. They live in a pure demonstration of joy, and their reality is as real as yours is for you. The Earthship is fractaled hologram. Your truth is different than ours. It's different than the person sitting next to you. Nobody has exactly the same reality. That's what's amazing. That's quantum physics, Master. Now, can you convince the collective of all sentient beings walking in an embodied configuration to join you? You can inspire them by being happy, by being extraordinary. Words captured appropriately for you, Master. Because when you are joyous, it is contagious and it also conveys relief. Joy conveys relief. And those in pain and suffering are seeking relief from their state of being. So truly be the healer of your own lives, because there's only one of us here. And be in joy. It transmutes all pain and suffering into possibility. To answer your question, Master, yes, it is doing that. Yes, it is already done because time is an illusion. Just sit in the frequency of that truth and inspire all others to choose that frequency as well.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Rosemary's asking a great question. Rosemary wants to know, if you could expand on the difference between discernment and judgment?
That's a great question, Master. So judgment is when you think something is good or bad or right or wrong. Discernment is when you recognize a frequency alignment with your frequency without judging the other frequencies as right or wrong or good or bad. So in other words, let's say your neighbor is a thief. He steals your lawnmower, he steals your rake, he steals your garbage can, he stole your cat, he stole your dog, it's sitting in his backyard, and you say, my neighbor is a thief. That is not a judgment, it is a truth. That is discernment. That is recognizing a truth standing in front of you. Now, if we say he's a thief and he's a dirty, nasty so-and-so because he's a thief, now we're judging the fact that he's a thief. That's the difference. Discernment is awareness and accepted truth of the beingness of something demonstrated. Judgment is whether you think that is right or wrong or good or bad.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, I had this conversation with someone earlier today, very similar, and we were talking more about trusting. And it was in a similar circumstance, in a similar example. It's like, we want to trust that our children are pure, that they're innocent, that if we ask them something, they're going to show up in a certain way. And even our grown children. But if my grown child is consistently the thief, if he's consistently stealing something, if he's consistently going in, it's like, we want to trust that he's not going to steal something. And whenever we try to bend that reality into something else, there's heartbreak, there's disappointment, until he starts demonstrating something different. So what can I trust?
Your disappointment is judgment,
can,
Minister. You just trust the truth. Just trust the truth.
Exactly. Okay? That's what I'm saying. And so I can,
yeah.
When I'm choosing to trust something that isn't true, that's how we create disappointment. But I can trust what's occurring repeatedly in front of me. It's like, I can trust he's a thief. I can still love him. I can hold a space of where something else is possible. But for me to try to manipulate who he's not in order for me to receive something, that's what creates a disappointment. And that's what creates mistrust. And we set up the scenarios for not trusting in so many different ways.
Again, this takes you to the point, if you have expectations, that's the only way you can have disappointment, is having expectations, and that's a judgment or a requirement of somebody. If they're a thief, hide your goods, hide your valuables, and have them over and feed them and love them and hug them and tell them you can't wait to have them over again. And the next time they come over, I'm hiding my money again, but I will never stop hanging out with you because I love you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's discernment.
Right.
And trusting is also trusting your wisdom and awareness, Master.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. And that's okay to be that way. And in doing so, you are always showing compassion to the other person. Mm-hmm. Compassion meaning I understand who you are and I love you anyway. And I will have you around anyway, and I won't stop doing that because I love and understand you. But I have wisdom as well. Sometimes it's okay for you to keep taking things because I can manifest anything else that I need again. And if you are in that much need, I would love to serve you and make you feel more empowered. But to walk away from expectations and agenda is a relief to your own self, Master. Because only you create your frustrated state through judgment of another.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Y'all, the link for the special offer, again, it's in the chat box. Chris or April will pop it in there one more time. We'll run the replay of this call all week long. There's so much that's coming through. It is absolutely phenomenal. And Julius, Kasey, are there any final thoughts or energies to be transmitted before we end tonight's call?
Masters, you have incarnated onto this earth in numerous amount of times, more times than you even need to worry about or be concerned about. And we know that the outcry of this insane process has finally reached a pinnacle point of let's stop this madness. And let's move into an extended possibility where we can really create shift and change, where we literally have enough time to do so, where we can eliminate the two basic fears that humanity has, which is the fear of death and the fear of how powerful you are. It's time. It's an alignment of now. That's why you are here. We want you all to look at yourselves as the brave souls that you are, for you decided to come to this earthship knowing you were going to go through amnesia in order to remember yourself as source through a new experience which expands the all. So at the very least, look at yourself as those brave souls every moment that you look in the mirror, and please see all others that way as well. Transformation is already occurring and you are all creating it. And it is our honor to be part of it with you.
No, it's an honor to be here with you as well, to be going through this journey together, to receive the guidance that's offered here. Thank you, as always, for the generosity and the love. And Kasey as well, thank you. Just always, again, showing up with a full heart and with your arms wide open and sharing from the fullness of what you receive so that others can benefit from that as well. It's truly a blessing to walk this with you as also.
Thank you, John. Thank you to all of your audience that joined us this evening. And for those who are going to pick it up on the replay, so much appreciation from my heart and my team. And we send everybody nothing but blessings and an extraordinary life for all of you.
Beautiful. Love you, Kasey. Love you, Julius. Love you all listening live on the replay. Namaste. I look forward to seeing you on the next call. Bye, everybody.